What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Boyers YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about my new 2023 Ktm 350Xcf. Recently picked this up from JT Motorsports at the same time that I picked up my son's E5. So I haven't had a new bike since 2009 and really love the looks of the 23s. Really kind of that throwback to like the 97 with the purple in it, and just a mean looking bike. So I could not wait to get on this thing. And all that excitement left me the minute I rode it. So as soon as I got the bike back to the house, Case was really excited to ride his new bike. I was excited to ride this.
Dad, I did it!
Good job.
Okay,
to get my gear. So I really didn't touch anything or play with anything, and just went out to a really smooth grass track that we have here at the house and was riding along with Case. Nothing groundbreaking. All I noticed is that the bike really wanted to go, and first gear, I was having to clutch it just in first gear alone, kind of riding behind him. So I could tell that the gearing was a little off. The next thing that I noticed is it just didn't really want to turn the best, but once again, nothing really changed. Never checked any of the clickers or anything like that, but was really excited to kind of get it into the garage, get it set up a little bit better, and then get it out to the farm for some real testing. All right, so before we get into how that first ride went, let's take a little look around the bike. So a couple oddball things that I think in this year is, I really love the seat, the look of it. I love the orange seat. I love that it's got a little bit of grip in it. But one odd thing is this single bolt. While it's very easy to get to, I had a 2017 Ktm 350 and it had the two bolts back here underneath the fender. And it was a little awkward to get to those and try to get them out. But the nice thing is that it just went in to the subframe, and a lot less risk of any stripping of the bolt. This could be very problematic because if you don't get this bolt right, it's going directly into the tank, and I'm pretty sure you'll need a new tank if you happen to seriously cross thread that. So a little bad design for those of us that like to strip bolts, and I'm a little guilty of that sometimes. So definitely going to have to be extra careful with that. One positive that I really immediately noticed on the bike is just how narrow and slender it feels. Once again, I'm comparing this to coming off that 2017, and I definitely feel more comfortable on the bike almost immediately. Just sitting on the bike, feels good. It feels nimble. I can feel the weight difference, and that part's very exciting. The other new part for me, and you got to do more playing around here, is you'll get the different one, the traction control, and then two, the different mode settings, something that the 2017 didn't have. So looking forward to doing more testing with that in different conditions and really playing with that power curve. The other very interesting aspect of this, I thought, are these holes that go directly into where the air box is. It makes me a little bit worried, in a really muddy race or going in some deep water, that it's an easy access point for that water to get in there at a pretty significant amount. So definitely need to get some foam in there to kind of protect that and hopefully keep some dust and dirt out. Also a big worry in dusty races, the amount of dust that can kind of get into that air filter. The other thing I just absolutely love about the bike was just the looks. I think from the shroud's design, it just makes the bike look really narrow. Big shout out to DecalWorks for getting these graphics over. Really tried to incorporate the stock graphics back through the rest of the graphics on the side plate, incorporating that purple. They got the perfect match on that. Just love how easy these graphics are. Once again, if you're looking for graphics, definitely hit up DecalWorks and mention the Two Wheel Rider podcast. All right, let me show you a few more pieces to the bike. As I said earlier, the bike is definitely looking good, so I was super excited to get out to a little bit more testing after getting it set up a little bit better. So immediately as I got this up to the farm, I shot across a bumpy field, and it immediately felt uncomfortable. I was like, oh, let me give it a try in the woods. I went through some rocks and some roots, and once again, the type of riding I like to do is more technical, single track, off-road riding. A couple things that I noticed. One, it wanted to go, and it wanted to go, way faster than I wanted to, and some of those technical things, it really wanted to bark, and it was almost immediately, where it wasn't a nice smooth power, and so definitely knew that was immediately kind of off, and something that I was much more happy on the 2017 350 with the power delivery. Then the next thing I noticed that it was a complete pogo stick. Every time I got into a rock section, I did not feel confident at all. It did not want to stay planted. It wanted to kind of just bounce all over the place, from the front end to the rear end, and it was left to right on the rear. The front kept popping it up. It wasn't even fun to ride. So that kind of took the wind out of my sails after just purchasing this bike, going, I spent all this money, I'd rather ride my old bike. Fortunate, I gave John Ross a call, and he hadn't quite messed with the 2023 yet, so he came and picked up the bike and started doing a ton of research on these bikes. Got a bunch of other calls from other folks that were struggling with setup as well for the bike. All right, so I'll definitely have to have a more in-depth video with John talking about all the different things that he did, but you probably noticed when I took you around the bike something that looked a little different than the other 2023s that you may have seen. So you can tell that the front forks are off an older model. They are not the air forks. I had horrible luck with the air forks. I was hoping that they had improved since the 2017. I had to take the suspension on that and convert that as well. So I ended up going back to a spring fork and getting that set up for my weight and riding style and riding ability and the type of terrain that I'm attacking. Also got the rear shock revalved and set up as well. And John worked his magic on the suspension, which got me excited again to get this out and truly enjoy this new purchase. The other aspect that I did, as I talked about with the power curve, was changing that front sprocket down to a 13, smoothing out that power a little bit. The other piece was adjusting the TPS, the throttle position sensor, once again to kind of get that throttle to come on a little bit smoother. So back to the farm it was after getting the bike more set up and the power changed and the suspension set up, and to give it another go. So as I stepped on the bike, I started hammering out some motos between some grass tracks, some rooty sections, and immediately noticed how well it was turning. The power just felt comfortable right off the bat, and it was just a really plush ride, which I was really looking forward to. The older I get, the more I want the bike to kind of react like I'm expecting. So that plush feel and the ability to turn better just had me ecstatic. So I went out there and was just planning on kind of riding for a couple minutes and then come back and tune some things, but ended up riding for 30 minutes straight, hammering out some grass track motos. Thanks to Two Wheeled Rider for catching some footage of me out there. Definitely not fast anymore. It's been probably 10 years since I tried to hammer out a moto, but I had a lot of fun. Cheeks were hurting more than the muscles from grinning ear to ear. So it was so nice to finally get this 2023 set up the way I wanted to. A little frustrating that I had to do a little bit more tuning than I was anticipating, but now it is definitely the bike and the best bike that I've actually ridden. So it really went from one of the worst bikes I've ridden, that goes back to 2008 300Xcf, that bike was horrible, to now one of the best bikes that I've ridden. So I'm very excited to get this out more on the trails and have more videos coming along. So please think about hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will catch you all next time.